Hello, George Ordway here at Camp Fresno Junior. I'm looking at the back of the men's dorm. This dorm has enough to sleep 40 people. The back exit has a really large door, which anyone, even with a wheelchair, could get in and out of. But in reality, this board deck, this is laying on the ground. It's rotted. You can see right here is a hazard. Someone could trip on that. You can see this board. Let me see if the board is basically stuck up out of the ground. This needs to be replaced, so that's just a repair that needs to be done. My suggestion is that we do that according to all of the ADA specs. I've had the experience of building over 60 wheelchair ramps and so on and so forth over the years through Men with a Mission. And so I would use an ADA approach to that. Let me just quickly walk over to the women's dorm, and it's the same thing as the back, but you can see that someone cemented a nice slope here that goes up to the deck, which actually the approach, and that approach is probably okay. I probably would redo that also, but it's a much more safer example. The railings are not up to code and all that, so that would be easy to change. But basically, whoever did this approach had the right idea. I would suggest replacing both of these back two exits so that they, starting with the cement right there, so that they actually comply more with someone if they did have to have an exit or an entrance. Moving to the front of it, I wanted to show a project that is on my mind, and that's the front of the men's dorm. The approach here is a staircase. I would change this staircase. It's very dilapidated. It's actually falling over. The wood's bad. You can see the steps are all soft and messed up. So it's moving around a little bit. Basically, this needs to be rebuilt. So instead of rebuilding it the way it is, I would suggest that we come out, create a landing like this, replace this whole landing, and come out and literally create, again, a wheelchair ramp type ADA spec ramp that comes out here and makes a turn and goes along the side of the building here to my left, so that this actually becomes a dorm that can be entered or exited through wheelchair ramp quality spec ADA type construction. Same thing with the front of the women's dorm. This would be quite a bit easier. We really don't need a big turn here. You can come straight out with a ramp. So these would be replaced, these two stairs on both the men and the women's dorms would be replaced with ramps. And it's not that our customer is actually disabled, but disability people, but in reality, we might as well make this something that someone could, roll someone up on or drive a cart up on. The doors are plenty large. They need to be replaced, of course, but I wanted to make sure I gave you kind of a visual view of what replacing the entrances and the exits of the women and the men's dorms at Camp Fresno Junior would look like. Of course, we have volunteers who would like to do that. The lumber isn't overly expensive. We'd have to determine how much cement we want to use, but in reality, this is a good project to have done sometime late this year or early next year. So when the kids come, that upgrade has been completed. Thank you.